Welcome back, trackside. Once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight. Race number 3 out of the 4-week mini championship season to decide who will walk away, crowned the king of the Gen 4. Masters of the Draft mini season just around the corner from crowning an overall season champion as well. Only 2 more races remain to figure out who's gonna walk away with the season championship title. Live here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Atlanta 250 on tap, just moments away from heading trackside for the national anthem. Speaking of trackside, 87 degrees out there tonight. Drivers should have a fair amount of grip underneath the cars with those fresh Goodyear rubbers on. 78 degrees out there, track temperature for all the fans that beginning to file into the stands. So before we get set to head trackside, how you doing? How you feeling? Out there in TV land, race fans, glad you could all join us here tonight. As always, David the Cave bringing you all the calls from trackside. Speaking of trackside, what do you say we give you a little rundown of how qualifying went earlier here today from Atlanta Motor Speedway, walking away with the U.S. Veterans Pole Award once again, second week in a row behind the wheel of that fast number 34. Sean Boundy will lead us to the green flag for the second week in a row. Scott Wise, last week's race winner, coming into tonight's race, a lot on the line. 12 points out of the overall points lead for this Gen 4 block. Will tonight be the night that he closes in and gets the opportunity to walk away with the championship? We'll find out as the music fades away. We're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Head trackside for your national anthem. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
in backtrack side as the drivers begin to roll already. On the backstretch, let's join the field as we get set to let them loose here tonight, starting front row, snatching the U.S. Veterans Pole Award moments ago behind the wheel of that fast number 34 machine. Sean Bounty will lead us to the green flag once again. Greg Thompson just to his outside. How about last week's race winner, Scott Wise, starting inside row number 3 in that 5th position. William Britton back on the scene. He's going to round out our top 10. Joe Wells in position to secure the championship tonight, starts just inside the top 20. We got a lot on the line here tonight, getting ready to let them loose for the first time into the restart zone on the gas, and green flag flies for the first time here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thompson with a good start on the outside lane. He's going to put that 08 Budweiser machine to the bottom right in front of Andrew Lord. Landon Lacey with a good run already here tonight. Lacey up to that 4th position. See Scott Wise, a little bit different livery on that 31 machine, sitting, I believe that's going to be in that 6th position. Yes, it is 6th position, 4th car inside lane. Off of 4 for the first time here tonight. Crossing the line. Your pole sitter will lead him across the line, but we've got a quick caution on the speedway. Yellow flag flies for the first time here tonight on lap number 1. Looks like Donald Stewart may have been involved in this one. What do you say we jump back and check the replay? We see a handful of drivers making their way off of pit lane. And just, losing it on the apron, coming up onto the track. And race officials, no other choice but to throw that caution flag early here tonight. So trouble getting up to speed for that 142. Donald Stewart going to put it in the right direction. And we'll get back behind the pace car, front of the field with your race leader, Sean Bounty, as we cross the line. Not a lot of takers to pit road. William Britton, Dylan Picklesheimer, looks like Joe Wells, Jacob Drift, Richard Smith, all on pit road. So only 5 out of your 21 drivers taking an opportunity to top off with fuel. I would expect everybody to leave the tires on a little bit too soon to be switching out those Goodyear rubbers. So an early caution. What's this do to the mindset of the field? What's this do to the mindset of the drivers? Sure, you got your spotter already in your ear telling you what happened, how it went down. So you know it's not a racing deal, right? You know there was no trouble between 2 drivers yet. Nobody lost it into the corner. So how do you approach this restart? Do you get on the wheel a little bit more than what maybe you were there on that initial start, knowing there's a little bit more out there, a little more grip than what maybe you thought? We'll see which one of the drivers is ready to push the envelope. On this latest restart, field should receive the 1 to go, I believe, this time by the boss man and the flag stand. Travis Gilbert playing a little gamesmanship, looking like he's gonna head to pit road, not heading down there. I don't think he really caught anybody off guard with that move. I think everybody pretty much realized he was going to be staying out. Yes, indeed, the 1 to go given by the boss man and the flag stand, our good buddy Joshua Norwood, ready to bring the field back around. And we'll go back racing once again here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. So a big field here tonight, over 20 drivers all season long. We are approaching, well, tonight will be race number 19 in total of an average of 20 or better cars week in, week out. If that isn't a testament to the status, the prestige, and the level of expertise in this league, I don't know what else speaks volumes to it. A lot of great drivers, a lot of high I ratings. If you're part of the iRacing community, you know what that I rating means, and a lot of very talented drivers in the field here tonight. As the sun begins to shine in 3 and 4, we'll work our way back to the Geico restart zone, and we'll go back under green flag conditions once again here at Atlanta Motor Speedway on the gas quick. 34 with a good jump. Down below all over his rear deck. Let good push into one. We'll tweak a few things here, Grizzly. We'll see if we can't get that figured out for you guys. Let us know how that audio is right there. Make sure you can hear us. You know how that is. We're going to keep trucking along here as drivers back through the corner round out front. Sean Bounty still leads the race, bottom of the racetrack this time, able to get a good start and get to the bottom of the racetrack. Lap number 3 after the caution. We'll go ahead and drop that timing and scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you follow along and find your favorite driver in the field here tonight. That double O looking strong on the high side. Leading a group of about 3-4 cars behind him. There it is, 4 cars lined up outside lane, trying to make some headway. Unable to do so for the time being here at this revamped, repaved, reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway. Long night of racing remains ahead of us. Over 160 laps still out front of these drivers. So it's about the long game, right? You gotta be there at the end to have a chance to win. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But you gotta take care of the equipment. You gotta make sure you got something at the end. So do you just play it safe? Do you ride nice and easy on that inside lane? Handful of drivers say, we're going for the pass. We're going for the race lead. Side by side across the line. Drag race into one. Still side by side all the way through the top 8 positions on the racetrack here right after restart on the lap number 1. Nobody able to break free at the front of the field. Will stay knotted up to give the race lead to Landon Lacey, though, on that outside lane. Scored as the 54 on the timing scoring, but that BK double O looking pretty good on the high side. 94 right behind him. Al Likens, one of those drivers still in the hunt, still in the mix for a championship here in this Gen 4 block. Likens came into tonight's race just sitting 24 points outside of the overall Gen 4 championship standings. So with a solid run here tonight and a solid performance next week in our full length Super Speedway Spectacular coming up at you next Thursday night right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy. 188 laps, and I believe it is going to be, yes indeed, Talladega Super Speedway hosting the championship night. The final race of the season coming at you next weekend. Go ahead, if you haven't already, hit that notification bell over there on the right side of your screen. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Still hot and heavy action on the track top side. Looking strong now as more drivers begin to join forces. The energy will pick up. That outside lane should see a little surge to the front. And I tell you what, we're going to take a little look around. We're going to jump in and outside of some of these machines here. Take a look on board here, riding with the man sitting in second behind your race leader, Greg Thompson. Great camera shot here. Overhead view. Look how close these guys get in the corner, back further in the field. On board now with the vet to track number 2 of Travis Gilbert. A lot of movement throughout these machines, all throughout the field. Mark Ackerman in the 37 Ackerman Aviation Group machine down on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to catch up to this lead pack. Hasn't really lost the draft, just got a nice little safe buffer zone in case something, and there it is. Something going on out front. Able to avoid it. Back up the track goes Andrew Moore. 77. Big trouble here on lap 14. We'll jump back outside of the car. Try to bring you some more of the action from all around the racetrack. Check out that chromatic number 24. Iconic Bugs Bunny paint scheme. And loving some of these throwback paint schemes. You can check out the Singular Machine by Scott Wise, driven on the high side here. Back across the stripe, lap number 16 now underway. Quick caution here tonight on lap number 1. We've been clean and green ever since the drop of the restart flag. I bet these drivers all over each other right now. That number 2 machine all over the rear deck lid of the 24 DuPont of Dakota Bailey. Bailey sitting just outside of the top 5, sitting in the 7th position, up 2 spots from where he qualified. So climbing his way slowly to the front is Bailey. And again, if you're out there watching, you're out there listening, if you have any input, you have any insights, questions, by all means, write them down over there in the chat. We'll get to them just as quickly as we possibly can. For now, though, want to get a thumbs up if everything's good on the audio. Can you hear the cars well? Hear my voice well? Make sure everybody gets to enjoy all there is of me. You know, I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. Two very familiar paint schemes right there. The Kodak machine on the high side. And that vent to track number 2 sporting very similar liveries here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. How about the 37 of Mark Ackerman working his way to the top of the racetrack, now picking up yet another position, up 11 spots so far here tonight in 19 laps. Ackerman definitely wanted to work his way to the front of the field. Race looks like the drop of the green flag coming around on lap number 1. Still side by side through your top 9 positions on the speedway. Bottom of the racetrack. Still being held down by your U.S. Veterans Pole Award winner Sean Bounty, still showing the way at the front. And that Pepsi DuPont number 34 machine, he's got the 00 of Likens lined up right behind him. Or I apologize, that's not Likens, that's Landon Lacey, bottom of the racetrack. 94 of Likens looking for the race lead. And again, a lot of great camera shots all throughout this field. Some great action shots. Let's jump back on board with the number 12 of Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer sitting outside of the top 5, sitting in that 7th now, make it 6th position. It's going to be a very fluid timing and scoring chart over there to the left-hand side of your screen with the super speedway type racing going on here tonight on this 1.5 miles. Reconfigured, rebanked, revamped. Atlanta Motor Speedway. And you know, call me old school if you will. I'll let my age show. It is what it is. But something about repaving Atlanta just never quite sit well with me personally. The track had a lot of characteristic, took a lot to get the job done in Atlanta, and now we've made this this very unique, very prestigious, iconic mile-and-a-half racetrack, race like a mini Daytona. Exciting! Don't get me wrong, exciting. But I kind of like old Atlanta. I'm just saying. On board now with Joe Wells, eyeballing securing the overall season championship with a solid finish here tonight. Jacob Drift, the only one in striking distance, 103 points back from Joe Wells. So all Joe's got to do is pretty much finish this off with 2 to 3 points walking away from the track here tonight, and he will indeed secure the overall season championship for the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. I'm telling you, these guys putting on a show, showing exactly why they are the masters of the draft. Too wide throughout your top 12 positions on the racetrack at a mile and a half, upwards of 180 miles an hour through the corners. These guys, they come to play. A little early here tonight in the race, but let's see if we've got any takers with our question here. Who you got to get to victory lane? I know it's early. You maybe not have that favorite driver picked out just yet, but I've been eyeballing somebody that took a little time off. Hasn't been around very much in these past handful of weeks. But I'm looking at this guy that reemerged, had a solid qualifying effort, and is just kind of hanging out right now. Not really moving forward, not really falling back, just kind of holding serve for the time being. 140 plus laps remaining, so a lot of time still going. And Grizzly says Lacey. You got Lacey, huh? I mean, I like the pick. I won't call it cheating. I mean, he's at the front, so it's an easy pick. But, you know, Lycan's one of those drivers, man, that has been quick all season. I mean, you don't come into tonight's race sitting third in the overall point standings, or I apologize, tied for fourth in the point standings with an opportunity at a Gen 4 block championship trophy. So Lycan's definitely one of those quick drivers. He's going to give up the race lead on that outside lane. Big wiggle. You know, huge problem there for Scott Wise. All sorts of out of shape. You can see the smoke boiling off of those back tires. My goodness. And I hear you, I hear you. Bailey, Lacey, or Mac? Okay. All right, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Got some Wells fans out there as well tuning in. Good to see you guys all out here tonight. Trackside at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 167 laps, 250 miles of racing action laid out in front of these masters of the draft drivers. And after a trip across the pond to a very unique super speedway race last week, and we're not going to throw the Italian on you this week like we did last week. If you don't know, go back and watch some of last week's broadcast. You can have a couple of jewels dropped on you. Whoa, big trouble up the track. 38 goes around contact, and around Gregory Thurlow goes. We got a massive pile up. Big trouble off of turn number 4, lap 31. We're going to see our second caution of the night fly. Big trouble here. Let's go back. Let's check the replay. Yeah, just up the track, right across the nose of Picklesheimer to the 3 of Wells. Comes in, catches a bit of it. Andrew Moore, tough, hard impact, outside lane. And Moore absolutely destroyed that car. Take a look, there's all the smoke trying to work his way through. It gets clipped by Wells. Back up the track, the 23. Arco breaking his way right through it. Man, Richard Smith, the second, great job to avoid any trouble here. So, caution number 2 will fly tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Majority of the field down pit road. Looks like Jacob Drift trying to do what he can to pick up some points. He's going to stay out, lead a lap or two here. We're going to take just a brief moment. Step away, pay a few of the sponsor bills, keep the lights turned on. You know how it goes. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. As promised, quickly back trackside as the field receives the 1 to go. We're set to go back green flag racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Second caution coming after some trouble on the track. Drivers struggling with grip. We sent a handful of drivers sliding around just a little bit. Up the track goes the 38 across the nose of the number 12 machine of Picklesheimer. Carnage, chaos ensues. Handful of drivers collected. But we'll soldier on here tonight. Over 130 laps still laid out in front of these drivers. And you know, we're going to keep you waiting. We asked a few minutes ago who your pick was, who your driver was to get to victory lane here tonight. We've got ours in our back pocket. If something happens to him, we'll let you know, of course, ahead of time. But we're going to keep this in the back pocket for just a handful of more laps. We don't want to make a fool of ourselves too early. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously. Norwood takes the iRacing pace car back down pit road. We roll to the restart zone on the gas and on the loud pedal. Green flag flies once again here as Jacob Drift takes us back under green. Lacey and Gilbert right there, second and third. Scott Wise still sitting in fourth, outside lane, way up the racetrack there. For Drift, interesting to see him not trying to cover that inside lane, giving that preferred lane to the fresher tires that are going to easily freight train them down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Whoa, trouble contact. Bailey around into Drift, and we've got more trouble. And we've got a lot of it. Parking lot on the backstretch. You can see a handful of drivers stopped already. Trying to let everything sort itself out. So quick caution here as we go back under green, heading into turn number 3. Look like contact between the 24 and the 31 of Wise led to a lot more carnage and chaos out there on the track. Trying to get the thumbs up from the production team over there before we throw it back to the replay. Let's see how it all went down. Let's see how it all happened here tonight as we're under caution for the third time here tonight from Atlanta. Richard Smith with a view of all the carnage and chaos out front. Daryl Johnson going to scoot his way by there. You can see Joe Wells coming to all but a stop on the top of the racetrack. There it is. Complete stop avoiding any contact this time. Wells says, not gonna catch me 2 times in a row. And we'll head back out front with your new race leader, the 00 Burger King machine. Have it your way. Toyota Camry, piloted by Landon Lacey. So there you go, Grizzly. Your boy's still out front. You got one of them out front. 24 of Bailey, unfortunately caught up involved in this latest incident. Darren Mack, the 59 on pit road as well. Joe Wells just narrowly missing this one. So a lot of good names caught up early here tonight with trouble. We're going to have to do a little bit of damage control. Possibly trying to hold on to that quick fix, that fast repair. The one quick fix handed out. You don't want to burn them early. You want to keep them in your back pocket just as long as you possibly can. Save it and have a fresh machine at the end, right? That's the optimal thing. But with super speedway racing, I mean, you really don't know, right? I mean, you're traveling along 180 miles an hour, just cruising, you know what I mean? Just cruising out there at 180 miles an hour, and next thing you know, you're on your lid. We've seen a couple Tony Hawk kickflip impersonations and impressions throughout the course of this Masters of the Draft season. Everybody keeping all 4 wheels on the track here tonight. So we can be thankful for that. But we've got a familiar face at the front once again behind the wheel of that number 2, Travis Gilbert, eyeballing a race win. And if I'm not mistaken, dude, guys, is this stat right? Is it surprisingly Gilbert not reaching victory lane yet? I could have swore he's been to victory lane. I want you to, can you double check? Yeah, double check it, triple check it. Sorry, having a little bit of a moment with the statisticians, and I want to make sure we're not giving you guys fake news, fake stats. Gilbert, one of the drivers that we've been accustomed to seeing at the front of the field, kind of. I don't want to say odd, but off-putting that he hasn't been to victory lane. See if the first time is here tonight. Back into the restart zone on the loud pedal in. Green flag flies once again, mashing the gas out front inside lane. Landon Lacey puts us back under green flag of racing conditions. Al Likens right there behind him. And quickly, Gilbert bails from the high side right down to the bottom. Top 3, 4, all single file here off of turn number 2, back down the back stretch. And that was a short-lived move for Gilbert. He's going to jump right to the high side as Al Likens looks for the race lead, and he's going to have the advantage, the push coming from the 2 of Gilbert. Behind him, a new race leader at the front of this field. Likens goes to the lead. No, in big trouble. Hard impact. Hard impact for the 8 of Sam Taylor. Man, that black and gold. Number 8 Budweiser machine. Hard impact with that outside wall. Big trouble here. Lap number 40 halfway down the backstretch. And we're going to jump right on back under caution. Back under yellow flag conditions for our quick 4th caution of the night. Let's go to the replay here. Let's see what happened. And yeah, just up the racetrack, gonna get hooked there by the 24. I don't want to put that on Bailey though. Bailey looked like he was just running his line. Let's take one more look. Do we got a different vantage point? Yeah, there it is. A little bit of net code as well involved in this one. Yeah, that is one hell of a lick. pancaking the driver's side door off that outside wall at 170 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. Right at a quarter of the way through tonight's race, we've had a handful of race leaders at the front of the field. We've had a handful of big name drivers with trouble here tonight. Heading down pit road, we've got some mixed strategies as far as pit road is concerned as well. Top 5 drivers to pit lane right around lap number 31. We're going to have a handful of drivers that were on pit lane at lap number 35. And now your recent visitors to the pit crews. Going to stagger the pit stops if we get to those the long green flag run. If we open things up for a round of green flag pit stops, we're going to have a pretty stretched out, a pretty staggered course there. That opens up quite a lot when it comes to the strategy, right? If you've got fresher tires and you can short pit where you're gonna put like almost a double gain, right? It's almost like doubling down at the casino. You know, if you're right there struggling just a little bit, you need just a little bit more speed, you may be able to duck to pit road a lap or two. Then the guys around you get a little bit of an advantage right there as well. But with the repave, we haven't really seen a lot of fall off yet, right? These tires holding on pretty well. That was one of our longest green flag runs there. Over 15, 16 laps of green flag racing, and not a whole lot of fall off as far as the stopwatch is concerned. So how important are the tires here? Fresh pavement probably not taxing those tires the way the typical Atlanta would. This racing surface on a lot more forgiving than what it once was. I don't think drivers are really going to have to worry about those tires here tonight. We're going to get some thoughts and opinions at the end of tonight's race on what those grip levels truly were. We've seen a handful of drivers struggle late in the run in that long green flag run with the grip on the rear of the car. We'll see if we can't take it to that place once again. Busy behind the wheel, Joshua Norwood going to bring that iRacing pace car back down pit road this time around as the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing Masters of the Draft get ready to refire once again here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Pace car in, and we are back under green once again. 94 going to hit the gas and step away from the field. It's going to be a short-lived excursion. The down below going to close right back in. Travis Gilbert looking to find a hole on that inside lane. He's going to slide down just behind the double O. Keep it single file for your first 6 positions as we head down the backstretch. Let's transition a little further back in the field. Watch these battles ensue, and we've got twinsies out there on the track here tonight. Check that out. Well, this is going to get a little bit confusing, but we're going to try to keep it as unconfusing as possible. And if you know me, you know that's almost impossible. Let's go to Bailey and Dusty White, both with those iconic Bugs Bunny DuPont paint schemes, both sporting the number 24 on the side of the machine. Outside lane is White. Inside lane is Bailey. "45 laps into tonight's race, and the front of the field has reformed, regained some strength. We are back side by side racing all the way through this entire field here. Lincoln's at the bottom of the racetrack with Gilbert to his high side. 64 machine of William Britton, shot out of a cannon. And now that he has made that scene, now that he has emerged inside of the top 5, there he is. You wanted to know our pick? Well, maybe you didn't want to know my pick, but there he is. And we've got another caution. Caution on the speedway. 37 of Mark Ackerman gonna have some problems here. We haven't been high above with the drone cam. Let's go take the drone cam for this latest replay. Let's check out a little rescue towing. Instant replay and down the track across the nose of Bailey. Bailey back up the high side. Wells gonna catch a piece of it. Let's look at that one more time. Joe Wells gonna catch a piece of that outside wall. Let's take a look here. Wide's going to make it through. Wells trying to make a move and just can't quite pull it off. Contact with the right front, then more contact with the outside wall. So Wells looking to secure a championship, looking to just have, right, a pretty quiet night, right? Doesn't need to make any waves, doesn't need to have any big splashes. Just right now, survival mode almost all ready for Wells. Top 6 going to stay out on the racetrack while the entire field heads to pit road. A little bit of a gamble here for these drivers at the front. Last time they were to pit road was back on lap number 31. So they've got just about 20 laps of all these tires and fuel when we get set. When we get set to go back green flag racing. So I'm not sure about the strategy call, right? I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Why not just come to pit road? It was a quick caution. He didn't come down pit road the previous caution, so why not just go ahead and take your medicine now, so to speak. Maybe you'll pull the field, maybe you won't. But right now, somewhat of a sitting duck. Your top 6. I mean, a 17 lap difference on the tires. I guess we're fixing to find out. I guess we're fixing to find out just how much of those tires truly do matter, and if there really is that much of a fall off. Right. So this is a big moment in the race for all of the crew chiefs, all of the drivers, really to find out what they can do, where they could stretch the strategy limits to. It's quite early in the night, so maybe this might be the wrong move right now, but it could set you up later on in the evening, towards the end of tonight's race, to play a better educated move, right? Use this as that stepping stone. Use this opportunity, this moment in the race, as a learning process. Find out what the car really has still in it. Find out what those fresh tires are going to be able to do. Because, I mean, why not? You still got over 120 laps remaining. Oh, well, a little less than 120. So why not throw caution to the wind right here? No pun intended, being under caution for the 5th time here tonight. But why not just gamble? What do you got to lose? Pace car back in. Ready to rock and roll once again at the front of the field. The Rockwell Automation. Number 94 of Lincoln's on the gas, and we go back green here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, lap number 50. on the board, just around the corner of a third of the way through tonight's race. Things gonna stack back up at the front of the field. Likens has got to be careful here. You gotta monitor that gap. You gotta manage it. You don't want to get too far out front, because here comes a hungry William Britton closing in quick. And Britton thought about taking it to the high side. He's going to keep the run on the bottom of the racetrack, but now big run coming from the back. I believe that's going to be the 12 of Picklesheimer. Yes, indeed, the 12 of Picklesheimer going to pick up the number 2, and oh, big moment there. Ooh, almost too late. William Britton looked to go to the top of the racetrack and take control of the race lead, but just a split second too late. Unable to cover that too of Gilbert. Likens back and forth, top side, back to the bottom in 3. Trying to work and manage the draft here, but check out Gilbert. High side. He'll cross the line with the race lead, the Venta track. Number 2 machine. Right there at the front where we are accustomed to seeing him. How about the great run by Andrew Moore as well? Moore was in trouble early here tonight. He has turned his night around and recovered every bit of lost position here. Third car, outside lane, hanging it out a little bit further to the right than the drivers in front of him. Maybe keeping a little bit of that air on the nose of the 77 machine, trying to give it a little bit more downforce and turn through the corner. We'll see if that's the strategy that's going to pan out and work out for him. Oh, and the 00 says he's had enough. He's going to pull that BK machine to the apron, head to the rear of the field. Back across the line once again. We'll drop the timing and scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you find and follow along with your favorite driver in the field here tonight. Gilbert remains at the top of the racetrack with Picklesheimer in tow. Andrew Moore third in line. Outside lane as the momentum, the organization looks a little bit better on that high side. .38 of Thurlow looking to make some moves up through this field. There you can see him, third car inside lane, struggling a little bit with a grip off of the corner exit. You can see him drift up the racetrack a little bit out of 4 that last time around. We're going to take an eyeball here. Take a look. Let's eyeball this 38, bottom of the racetrack here. Just a little twitch out of the rear of the car. So handling may be becoming an issue for a handful of these drivers, as we got a couple different packs already developed here tonight. It looks like we've got some drivers playing it safe. Let's jump back here. Second real pack on the racetrack, and we got trouble at the front, smoke in front. Ooh, driver, oh, and big trouble there, drifting. Wells gonna collect each other after problems out front, and we are back under caution for the 6th time here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. So as drivers catch back up to the pace car, we're gonna take this opportunity to take a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. and backtrack slide, double file. Field gonna work their way back to the restart zone, and we're gonna kick this thing off once again here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Want to give a huge shout out to new oncoming sponsor, Premier Racing Setups. Premier Racing Setups, longest running setup shop on iRacing, can create it with the intention of teaching others how to be successful and gain that extra competitive edge over their competition. They've got setups for every machine that you can think of here on the iRacing platform. You can check them out at www.premierracingsetups.com. So with just about 107 laps remaining when we cross the line, as the green flag will fly once again here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway, starting to eyeball some possible strategies out there as we're back under green conditions. Travis Gilbert takes over the race lead pretty easily on that high side with the 11-lap fresher tires. The 24 machine of Dusty White listed as the 27. That's the 24 on the side. That's going to be a little bit confusing for a handful of guys, but we're going to keep it all straightened down as best as we can for you here tonight from Atlanta. You're watching the Atlanta 250. A lot of movement out of that 27 in front of a very large field of hungry drivers. Big push now from Moore, and we've got trouble on the track. Mark Ackerman gonna have some issues, and we'll go back under caution. And quickly back under caution here, back behind the pace car once again. Race leader's going to stay out. Your top 11 going to stay out on the racetrack this time around. Scott Wise going to be the last driver to stay out there on the racetrack. Dusty White, still the oldest tires in the field. He was last to pit road back on lap number 47. So what is that? Close to 17 laps ago. I mean, much older tires, but if you could keep yourself at the front with some clean air on the car, I think you might be able to hold on a little bit longer than normal. Still a very long night ahead of all of these drivers. Still just over 100 laps remaining in tonight's Atlanta 250 for the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing, right here on the world's #1 racing simulator, iRacing.com. And while we got some time, why don't we discuss some of those championship points coming into tonight's race for this Gen 4 block. Right, 4 races to decide who will be crowned the king of these Gen 4 machines. And coming into tonight's race, all the way back to the 6th position, really, with an opportunity to walk away with the season championship. Coming into tonight's race, the number 12 machine, piloted by Dylan Picklesheimer, sitting in the 8th position as we go around the track right now. Came into tonight's race sitting at 288 points, 5 points ahead of the number 3 machine of Joe Wells, sitting in 2nd. Scott Wise sitting in 3rd in the championship standings, 12 points back. A bit of a jump back to Al Likens and Andrew Moore, knotted up 4 points back apiece. And then Sean Bounty, newcomer, making waves by walking away with some pole positions. He's got to have a good finish here tonight. He's only 25 points out of the Gen 4 championship. So with a little help from some trouble for a handful of guys and in a fine turnout in points day for yourself, any one of these top six have that opportunity to walk away from Talladega next week with a Gen 4 championship trophy at their side. Joe Wells needing to just have a solid finish here tonight. He's listed in 17th, needs about a top 15 to secure the overall season championship here tonight from Atlanta. We'll see if he can get the job done. Back into the restart zone, all the gas and green flag flies once again here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It looks like a quick caution. Debris out on the racetrack is what we are hearing. Debris out on the racetrack. That's going to slow us back to a crawl. Once again, back behind the iRacing pace car we will go. Here we are back across the stripe. Dusty White still utilizing that stay out strategy. He's going to keep himself at the front of the field. The 2 to go sign handed out. Again, we're stuck with that stair step of pinstrop strategies. Right, again, we've got drivers that were on the pit road. For instance, race leader on the pit road at lap 47. A gaggle of machines to pit road 10, 11 laps later on lap 58. Fresh drivers to pit road this time around. So with a handful of cautions on our hands here tonight. Drivers receive the one to go. The boss man in the flag stand letting us know it's time to go back. Green flag racing once again here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. We've got just under 100 laps remaining here tonight. And again, is your driver still in the mix? Is your driver still have that opportunity to walk away with the checkered flag here tonight? We know our guy has that opportunity. William Britton going to start second car outside lane in row number 2. Let's check in with a handful of other picks there. Landon Lacey sitting just outside of the top 10. Dakota Bailey in the top 10. So a good solid run for both of those drivers. Joe Wells just kind of hanging out near the back right now, sitting around that 17th position, but it's not quite time to go. You could expect to see that tribute do it for Dale, number 3, near the front by the end of tonight's race. I can assure you that, but base car gonna dunk in, and we're gonna dunk off once again. We head back under green flag race conditions live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Side by side, field stacks up just a little bit on the top side of the racetrack. That's going to allow the inside lane to surge forward, and we got problems. Around goes the 24 down the backstretch, and more trouble behind. He's going to slide right back out onto the track, and caution. Number 9 here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway puts us back under caution. And we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Head trackside in just a moment. You won't miss any of the green flag action live here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And back trackside right as we go back. Green flag racing once again here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Andrew Moore, new race leader. He's going to win the race to the front. He'll cross the line and send us back under green flag conditions once again. Here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, lap number 73 on the board, just at that halfway point here tonight. A lot of hot and heavy action all over the racetrack. You can see now the front of the field getting a little bit stretched out. Drivers may be playing this a little bit more conservative after a rash of cautions here through the mid portion of tonight's race. That's not going to stop Likens at the front of the field. He'll have Picklesheimer and Wise all over his rear deck lid. And I tell you what, haven't done it yet here tonight. Let's mute the mics and let's turn up. Great camera work here tonight by all the guys and girls back working hard behind the scenes, getting with these teams, getting some great action shots on board and around the racetrack for all of you race fans out in TV land. Hope you enjoy all the sights and sounds of our Turn It Up segment there. We're going to keep it alive at the front of this field as drivers continue to throw down for that race lead. We'll cross the line and drop that time lead scoring back to the left-hand side once again. Four on four at the front of the field. Your top eight have stepped away, built a little bit of a buffer zone back to that ninth place runner, Donald Stewart, in that 142 machine. Stewart listed just a handful of seconds back, right at 6/10 of a second, not quite a handful of seconds, but 6/10 of a second back from your race leader. So struggling a little bit to hold serve and keep the pace of Irwin Tools, number 97 machine of James Hudson, sitting in that eighth and final spot as we stay side by side, 4 rows deep. Here comes that second pack. Another 4 drivers going to join the 8 at the front. It's a 12-car breakaway. Dusty White in that 27 machine held the final car with this lead pack. Almost 2 seconds back to the 14 Drift King machine of Jacob Drift. Drift needing to have a solid night here tonight, but he's also needing Joe Wells to basically finish without any points here tonight, and unfortunately, Wells running well, so I don't think that's going to happen. Back at the top side of the racetrack, last week's race winner, Scott Wise, no stranger to the front of the field. The singular number 31 machine looking sporty here tonight. He's had a little bit of trouble earlier throughout tonight's race, but perseverance has paid off so far here, and Wise now sitting second car outside lane as this lead pack catches up to lap traffic out front. Likens flexing his muscles just a little bit here as this field spreads out a little bit, and trouble more into the outside wall. Wise goes around with a big stack up. Down the back stretch, we've got trouble. Once again here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway, lap number 86 on the board. Trouble on the backstretch. And as we find ourselves under our 10th caution of the evening, we're going to take just a brief commercial break. Take care of a handful of things here. And we will be right back with all your green flag action live here from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
And welcome back in, or thanks for joining us for the first time here tonight. You're watching the Atlanta 250, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. Under caution for the 10th time here tonight, just a little past the halfway point. Pace car ready to duck in, and we will let the field loose once again here tonight. Pace car back in, field double file, ready to roll, and away we go. Green flag flies once again. Again on the restart, Likens out to a good jump over the field, but here comes Pinkelsheimer surging back from some early troubles and early contact. The 12 back near the front. 77 of Andrew Moore also needs a good run here tonight. Moore back to the front of the field once again. Second car outside lane. Knocking on the door of lap 100, just a handful of laps away and still battling it out for supremacy at the front of the field. Likens and Pinkelsheimer continuing to go at it. 93 of Dale Johnson, he shot out of a cannon here tonight. Johnson up 4 positions from where he qualified after heading to the rear of the field for a vast majority of tonight's race. Johnson back near the front. And this time by 5th lap after the caution, we'll drop the timing scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you follow along and find your favorite driver in the field here tonight. And again, is your driver still in the mix? I know mine is. He's still inside of the top 10. I believe he's inside of the top 10. And yeah, he's going to prove us right. William Britton holding down that final position inside of the top 10. There you can see that advertise here. Sponsorship missing. Machine inside of the racetrack. 5th car back right behind him. Who is that? Right in front of him. Joe Wells. We mentioned it. We said it. We told you it was going to happen. We told you. First part of this race, you might not see very much of Wells, but when it comes time, you'll see him make some big moves. You'll see him make some heavy gains. And here he is. Looking fresh at the front, Joe Wells. Knocking on the door of the top 5 for the first time here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And again, we've seen a driver go to the top side of the racetrack to cover the run from the high side of the inside lane. Prevails immediately. 93 of Darrell Johnson looking for his first lap lead, not get across the stripe in time to secure that point. But here he is now, bottom of the racetrack, still looking for the lead. Next time around, lap 100 will go on the board. 68 laps remaining here tonight. Will we see the overall championship secured here tonight by the man behind the wheel of that number 3 machine? Joe Wells just needs a top 15 to do so. He's well and above that right now, sitting in that 6th position. So Wells looking to secure that championship, looking to try to give Picklesheimer a run for his money here in this Gen 4 block. Keep in mind, those two drivers are 1 and 2 in the Gen 4 championship standings. Only 5 points separates Picklesheimer from Wells. So while he would, if the race were to end right now, he would gain a little bit of a buffer heading into next week's final full-length Super Speedway Spectacular from Talladega Super Speedway. It's not enough to secure the championship here tonight for Picklesheimer. You can see the Irwin Tools, number 97 of James Hudson, bottom of the racetrack, trying to stay out of the way. Does a good job to keep that 97 out of the way of the lead lap machines. Will head back down the backstretch. Single file now beginning to develop between the front. This is the first time we have seen any semblance of single file racing here tonight at Atlanta, and it's going to be short-lived. Andrew Moore going to fill the hole. Going to push Picklesheimer up the racetrack just a little bit and grab that second position away. Lycan's able to now manipulate both lines. He's going to head to the top side of the racetrack, and that's going to leave just 2 drivers on the bottom. Man, how the run as well by that 38 machine. Looking good here tonight. Gregory Thurlow with a great run. More lap traffic lays out in front of your race leaders. Lap 103 on the board. Last time these drivers were to pit road was back on lap number 87. This has become one of our longer green flag runs of the night. It could be this, could be this. That's a little bit of a Yoda moment right there, huh? Could be this moment? It is. If you understand, you do. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. All right, here we go. Back on track. Back at the task at hand. Could this be the point in the race where we see that long green flag run? Atlanta Motor Speedway, one of the tracks that we have been accustomed to seeing some long green flag runs. We've had a handful of cautions tonight. You know, we're not going to shy away from that. A lot of trouble here tonight for a lot of drivers in this field. And now Coming to the end of tonight's race, long green flag run. Looks like it may be setting up a look at green flag pit stops, and that could be the game changer. Could the one and only green flag pit stop be the money stop of the night? We're going to have to wait to find out, as we've still got just over 60 laps remaining in the Atlanta 250 right here with the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the U.S. Veterans Pole Award, Little Rescue Towing, saving lap machines one caution at a time, Buster's Corners, as well as Premier Racing Setups. Also like to thank associate sponsors Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, as well as Beef Jerky Unlimited. If you're looking for some of the best beef jerky around, you can head on over to beefjerkyunlimited.com. They've got something for every flavor, from sweet to heat. They got it all for your palate. Check them out once again. That's beefjerkyunlimited.com. Things heating up a little at the front now. Some maneuvering going on. Picklesheimer gonna make a move, get to the inside of that 77 of Andrew Moore, force him up of the racetrack. That's gonna open up the door for Travis Gilbert to step through, and now Moore has got to find a hole. Stacked up behind Likens, Gilbert, Picklesheimer, Johnson, Moore, all going at it for position. Second, third, fourth on the racetrack. All throwing bones right now. 38 of Gregory Thurlow just holding serve, sitting in that sixth position. William Britton making some moves to the high side. You can see a little bit of damage on the right front of that 64. But Britton nonetheless still trying to track down your race leaders. And caution gonna come out. Joe Wells looks to have been involved in this latest action on the racetrack. Big trouble as caution flies lap number 111. Let's go back. Let's check the replay. There you can see 64 with some contact on the 38. 42 unable to get stopped in time. Gonna catch the back end of Wells. Turn him into the outside wall. Let's take one more look at it, guys. Do we got another camera angle? We do. Well, all right, let's go to this one. There you can see the contact between the 64 and the 38. 34 comes in, cleans out. Ooh. The 142, man, just couldn't get slowed up enough. Slide contact, but just enough. Gonna turn Wells into that outside wall. So as the majority of the field heads to pit road, we're going to take this opportunity to step away from the racetrack once again. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. In backtrack side, as promised, not missing any of the action here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway, race number 19 in the 20-week season for the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. Race number 3 in the 4-week mini season. 2 crowns lay ahead of us next week at Talladega Super Speedway. But first, we've got 53 more to go here tonight. We'll crown a king in Atlanta as the pace car heads back down pit road. We'll set the field loose once again, back on the gas, and away we go. Green flag flies once again here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. A lot of moves being made, drivers dropping from the high side back down to the bottom of the racetrack, stacking things up on that inside lane. So the top side may be the place to go. The 27 of Dusty White going to take his DuPont machine to the top side of the racetrack, and I do believe that's going to be the 23 of Richard Smith right behind him. Landon Lacey re-emerging on the scene. The 54 going to break back inside of your top 10. Travis Gilbert sitting in 9th with Dakota Bailey moving forward, going to be listed in the 10th position. Wells going to make a move and grab that 9th spot away. Field stacking themselves at the front once again. It's been like this all night long. No rest for the wicked, and the weary get no relief as we stay side by side throughout your top 12. Crossing the line, lap 119 goes on the board. A little less than 50 to go as we cross the line this time around. Lap number 121 going to go on the board. Front of the field still stacked up. William Britton trying to work his way back inside of the top 10, was running inside of the top 5. Things stacked up at the front when Andrew Moore looking for the race lead. Back down the backstretch, Scott Wise in tow. Familiar friends at the front, hanging it out on the high side. Lycan's going to continue to try to lead the race from the bottom of the racetrack. Dylan Picklesheimer behind him with a 27 in tow. And if we if we've learned anything over the course of our broadcasting career or our racing career, it's we've learned at the end of these things, the intensity picks up. The tempers start to show up. The greediness of a race car driver start to shine through, right? You start to see those those personality traits show up a little bit more lap after lap. You can see more aggressive moves. You can see bigger bumps. You can see drivers taking quicker lane changes, all in the attempt to walk away with the checkered flag. It's all about the glory of getting to victory lane. And that glory getting to victory lane here this season with the Masters of the Draft is somewhat of a coveted spot. We've had a handful of race winners, don't get me wrong, 10 different race winners this season, but that just goes to show you how tough it truly is to get back to victory lane. Some top-notch, high-caliber competition in this field. Only 2 drivers to victory lane 3 times this season. William Britton behind the wheel of that advertised here, number 64 machine, running inside of the top 10 right now, as well as Dakota Bailey going to victory lane 3 times this season. Both collecting mini-season championships already, so they already have a championship crown. And both of those guys looking to add a second, possible third. Four to go when we cross the line this time around. Al Lycan showing the way out front, leading the pack. We've been green flag racing for the past. It looks to be about 13, 14 laps or so. So drivers getting to settle in once again. And we're not going to make it to the end on the fuel. So drivers still have that opportunity to lay it out in front of them for a possible green flag pit stop. But with as many cautions as we've had, right, as many, as quickly as trouble has run up upon us, I don't think we're going to see very many, if any at all, play that reversed fuel game. As soon as the fuel window opens up, come in. I don't think we're going to see that short pit strategy. I think drivers and crew chiefs are going to be a little gun shy on pulling the trigger coming to pit road a little early. In fact, they may elect to try to stretch it as far as they can and catch some of the competition a lap down, going in the opposite direction. But I mean, we still have a lot of racing remaining ahead of us. Lap 130 now on the board, still just under 40 laps remaining. About 50, 60 miles of racing still in front of these drivers, and single file action is starting to show us that we may see guys really eyeballing a green flag pit stop strategy. It looks like the majority of the field. Let's see if we can't pan back a little bit. Can we step back a little bit, guys? Let's take a little bit of a broader view at what's going on the track right now. Everybody inside of your top 8, single file. Richard Smith, Dusty White, single file behind him. Dakota Bailey, the entire field, single file. 1 or 2 drivers here or there stepping out, getting a little bit of clean air on the nose of their machines, but for the majority of the part, the entire field, single file here. Just looking to work their way to the end. Travis Gilbert going to get shuffled out to 2, going to go to the top side of the racetrack. Help coming along. Looks like Scott Wise will look to the high side for just a moment. He's going to think better of it and keep that singular machine in line. Trouble, 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 trouble on the track. Once again, trouble. On lap 132, Scott Wise involved. Let's check the replay. Britton goes to the top side. It looks like a little bit of contact, but just enough to put the 31 around it into the outside wall, and we've got drivers with big issues now. Piling in a little late, nowhere to go. Trouble on the track. Lap 132. We'll head back under caution with your race leader Al Likens at the front of the field. This is going to open up pit road. This would open up our final run to the end. We're going to step away for what should be, what could be our final commercial break of the night. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Backtrack side as the field reaches the restart zone on the gas, and green flag flies once again here in the Atlanta 250. Travis Gilbert obtains the race lead coming off of pit road. He'll lead him to the green flag and back down to turn number 1. Al Likens does outside. Dylan Picklesheimer sitting in third side by side, and we got more trouble in the back of the field. The caution flag will fly once again. 13th caution of the evening here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. So we talked about intensity picking up. We talked about tempers possibly flaring. We talked about drivers giving bigger pushes, making more abrupt, sudden moves. And here we are, with less than 30 laps to go. Championship no longer on the line. We have finally seen a handful of retirements. 21 drivers took to the starting grid here tonight. We are now down to just 18 remaining on the track. With just 18 remaining on the track, Joe Wells has locked up the overall season championship. Joe Wells will walk away with multiple sets of hardware. Now that all that remains to be decided will be this Gen 4 championship. Wells right there on the cusp of getting the Gen 4 championship. Picklesheimer still in control of his destiny. The number 12 Kodak machine starting inside row number 2 in that third position. Came into tonight's race 5 points ahead of Wells. Both Picklesheimer, well, I can't say both because Picklesheimer has led some laps. Joe Wells not leading any laps so far here tonight. So he will lose a little bit of ground in the point standings. But running so close together right here, very easy opportunity to leapfrog his way into that top spot heading into next week's Super Speedway Spectacular at Talladega Super Speedway. Our full-length series finale coming at you live next week at Talladega Super Speedway. And man, here we go. You know, we say it all the time. This is what it's about. This is what you race for. You don't come to the track to race 10th. You don't come to the track for a top 5. You come to the track to walk away with a win. That's it. Nothing else matters. And we're going to see who it matters the most to. Pace car in. Restart zone. On the gas, green flag flies once again. Lap 140 goes on the board. Less than 30 laps now remain. We'll see which one of these drivers have any patience remaining in these final 27 laps. We're going to let the racing action unfold. We're going to try to keep you informed as much as we can, but we don't want to break up any of that action. A little bit of a move up the racetrack for that 23 Golf machine. Now going to be put in a very precarious situation. 2-3 wide for the first time here tonight. 3 wide for the 6th position. Johnson, Smith, and Thurlow going at it. Oh, and we got trouble. Jumble behind, I've seen it out of the corner of her eye, back in the back. In the distance, the 59 of Darren Mack and the 27 of Dusty White gonna have some problems. Let's jump right back to the front. Race leaders going at it, 2-3 wide once again as we head back to turn 3. We're going to drop that timing scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you find your favorite driver in the field here tonight. things getting hot and heavy as we cross the line. Lap 143 goes on the board, just 25 to go. It's a short shootout to the end of tonight's race to capture the checkered flag. Side by side, top 8 positions on the racetrack. Throw a blanket over them, race fans. They are all right here running almost wide open here tonight. And Atlanta Motor Speedway, a lot of great racing action behind us. Still a lot of racing action in front of us as we cross the line with 23 to go this time by.
I got you, brother. How you doing? We would all listen, man. We would all listen. Heck yeah. Watch it every week, man. So I'd listen. Well, the cars would get super tight after about, I don't know, 10 laps. And depending on how you drove, depending on how bad it got tight. So my strategy was to kind of save a little bit of tire in the first part of the run. And then I was able to kind of pick my way through the field. And one time I went all the way back to 20th. I was speeding on pit road and went all the way back to 20th. And like 16 laps or something, I was back up in fourth place. So it was just kind of taking care of those tires and being there when it counted. On the last pit stop, I took two tires, which put me out front, and I didn't know if that was a good strategy or not. But hey, it worked out, I guess, you know? Well, Travis had taken two tires a couple times through the race and was able to work his way back up through. And he was in our Discord telling us that, and I was watching my left side tires, and they were 95% after the runs that we were getting. So I felt like over a 10 lap run, because it's all we had at the end there, that I could probably make it hang in there. And the last two laps, I really felt it. So I kept pushing in turn 3 and 4, and the 34 kept looking under me. But yeah, it was just the last minute, literally right before you hit the box, it clicked off the left side tires.
Well, Daryl, it's been a long season. It's been a long time coming. You got the job done before the end of the season. You finally break into that winners column. A big race coming up next week for the season finale. A full length super speedway spectacular at Talladega. All 188 laps. What do you think that 93 has got in store next week?
Well, we're gonna our whole team. I mentioned a couple weeks ago. I'd actually won 2 weeks ago, and I'd mentioned that TNT, which is the team that I'm part of, and G Lightning have this really strong alliance, and we're going to run a very special paint scheme next week. So you're going to see a whole bunch of cars that look a lot alike next week. But it's just a little teaser for you. So we're excited to do that, and so it should be fun.
And man, we stand corrected. For some reason, our stat guy did not get us the right information. We've got your name, but we've got no number beside it. So we were assuming. Well, I assumed. Should have double checked. Is there supposed to be a number beside his name? What's going on with this? But so that's on me. But nonetheless, man, a hell of a
No
season
worries,
for
man.
you. You know what I mean? We're coming to the end of it. Do you think you can go out with another race win?
Well, that's the goal next week. It's going to be a long race. Um, a full race behind a sim is going to be tough. I don't, I haven't made a full race, so we'll see how that goes. Um, just well, I don't even know how long it's going to take us. 4 hours, so it should be challenging. Just the length in itself is going to be a long, long night. So I have a feeling at some point we're getting into this really long run, and you're just going to have to be in that lead pack. I hope.
Well, man, for the sake of me going to work on Friday next week, I hope it's not 4 hours. But I love me some good racing. So if it's 4 hours, it's 4 hours. It is what it is. I know the race fans are gonna love every bit of it. I'll love it, and as long as you walk away in victory lane, you'll probably love it too. But with all that being said, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Before we let you go, would you like to give any final shout outs, thanks yous, love yous?
I would. I got a very special one. So I didn't race last week. I was watching your broadcast, and the reason why I didn't race is my wife had an emergency surgery that she had to have, and fortunately, she is doing well at home. And, I just wanted to say, hey, you know, praise God for that, and constantly think about her and love her to death. And I'm glad she's healthy, and back to where she can move around and not need those emergency surgeries and those kind of things. So first and foremost, her, God taking care of her and all the things she does for our family. Secondly, all of my teammates in TNT and the alliance with G Lightning. Joe for the paint schemes, he does all the paint schemes for all of our teams. He's phenomenal at doing that. Um, and all of our teammates for working together, and you for doing the broadcast. You always do an awesome job. And I didn't mention him last week, but I've been racing vet to track. Travis turned me onto it, and his sergeant in the army kind of started the nonprofit, and it's a good effort to get veterans to the track. And as it says, battling PTSD one lap at a time. So that's what we do. We're out here trying to support some of those deals there.
Well, Daryl, I know everybody here in the production booth appreciates the kind words. I know the sponsors and your fellow competitors appreciate the kind words. I know your wife especially appreciates all the love and the kind words. We wish her the best in recovering from all the surgeries. We wish you the best moving forward as well. Until next time, my friend, stay safe, and as always, keep it fast.
Thanks, brother.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from Victory Lane as we get ready to cap off tonight's coverage from Atlanta Motor Speedway. What a race, what a night, a lot on the line, and a lot was accomplished. Joe Wells may have very well secured that championship. We're going to let the points be tallied up before we just hand it to him. But what a night for racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Man, it doesn't get much better than that. And with producers hitting those buttons in the background, you know the familiar sounds. You know it's time for us to run down tonight's unofficial race results in the Atlanta 250 for the NASCVR Masters of the Draft. Atlanta 250, Daryl Johnson walks away with the checkered flag with Al Likens coming home second. Scott Wise get a slide across the finish line in third. William Britton returning to the track with the top five. He'll finish in fourth. Travis Gilbert get a slide. The vet to track number 2 home in fifth. Sixth place tonight belongs to Gregory Thurlow with Joe Wells coming in seventh. Andrew Moore eighth. Ninth place tonight to Richard Smith the second with the Drift King Jacob Drift finishing out your top 10. U.S. Veteran Pole Award winner Sean Bounty going to come home in 11th with Dylan Pickles. Simer in 12th. Landon Lacey back in 13th. 14th tonight from Atlanta belongs to James Hudson. Darren Mack back in 15th. Sam Taylor, Dusty White, Dakota Bailey with Mark Ackerman and Donald Stewart rounding out your top 20. Greg Thompson and Lauren Wise finish out the 22-car field here tonight. What a run, what a night. If you haven't already, show these drivers some love and appreciation. Join us in that push to 4,000 subscribers. Drop the drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, smash the bell over there at the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, David the Cave, or anybody else back at the headquarters. Stay safe, stay loved, my friends, and until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.